left on purpose. Her team left on purpose. On the first chapter page.
Because it says they didn't call me, they didn't tell me about the breakfast or something. I put it again and again for that because she's just saying all the ways that Dee did something like good, but then they never included her. Because she says again and again that you didn't do this with me, you didn't do that, you didn't do this.
And then like, why didn't they call me? Why didn't they tell me about breakfast? Why can't I be like everybody else? And then like she says they left me on purpose. How could they do that? They left me on purpose. Again and again she says they left. Why would they do that? And that's how she's realized that they left her on purpose. And I kind of have like a question for the team. Why would they do that? Like she's the star. She's the one that left them. So we don't like her.
Well, did we ever get an explanation from Mr. Dimming? Because there was a phone call in that chapter. Did they get an explanation from Mr. Dimming?
No, because all you heard was the mom yelling at me.
She said,
you never told me that they had breakfast. Or that
you could have told us. We could have gotten.
You could have left at like 5 in the morning, but you didn't contact us.
Yeah, she's like,
I'm feeling like Claire did this. Claire was gonna tell Melody in school or something.
like to kind of go on that. I had like, and again, Melody's mom is trying to comfort her, and get to the truth of finding why they left on page 264, and it's obviously showing that nobody's really telling them why they did it, because maybe they're guilty, like they shouldn't have done that, or feel that.
Because Mr. Dimming never did say anything.
Yeah, no.
Like I mean, we don't even ever really hear like what he says on the other part of the phone, but he just says, Mom just says, no, I don't understand. Why weren't we called? We could have been easily at the airport an hour earlier. We could have been there at dawn. You know how much this devastated my daughter. A pause. Yes, I'm aware she was probably the brightest person on the team. The word is was.
Mr. Dimming doesn't care.
All he says though is we'll make it up to her.
That you can. That's like that was unless you're to have a competition and do everything. That was the biggest part of her life. She's never felt really like she's never been in something.
Unless you can get her to walk and be able to talk on her own, I'm pretty sure she will apply.
That still wouldn't be enough.
But think
it's
of it
not
this
the
way.
same thing.
But she would be able to do more things like that.
But the real thing that she's missing out on is that she missed the moment of being the only kid with a disability that's going through all these troubles and struggles, being able to do that. You're taking that experience away from her. That's how she gained all her strength.
And I think that kind of then takes us into chapter 30, because on chapter 30, on page 267, I think Melody kind of had an aha moment, because she says,
I still want to go to school.
well, not even before that, when she finds out about the place, how they got 9th place at the competition, then she goes, but they weren't my team anymore.
To kind of grow on that, I had a contrast and contradictions for Melody starting to feel a part of the team before, and now she says in the text, they're not my team anymore. And that's earlier in the first chapter, she started really, not first, in the earlier chapter, she started to feel like a part of it. Like at the practices, she's like, we got this down. We were ready, not I am.
So she's putting
to kind of grow into that, like even people like Alina, she was like, you're not gonna get some pizza? Like even her team was starting to accept her. And I don't see why she's not at the competition with them.
But I think at that point, like the fact that Melody is finally admitting, I'm not part of this team. Like I have nothing to do with this. It's their team. I'm not part of it anymore. I think that's finally like her last straw when she is not associating herself with this team whatsoever anymore. Which is very...
Maybe because like it says she does end up going to school.
So why did she want to go to school though?
Because she thinks she isn't gonna get blamed for losing and stuff because she wasn't
She wants
there.
to prove that she's strong and that
She wants to prove.
She's like, I don't
She
care.
wants to prove to the kids that if she wasn't there, it doesn't matter.
she's gotten over it. She's like, I still have pain about it. I still really wanted to be there, but I'm not gonna go
Cry
home,
over it.
sobbing in my pillow when I could just be here and show you guys that I'm not.
Yeah,
a baby. She's like her mom.
Yeah, she reminds me of her mom because she's like, I'm gonna go to school. I don't care if they say like, oh, aren't you supposed to be in Washington with your team? I think if it comes to that, when they're gonna be like, oh, aren't you supposed to be in Washington with your team? I feel like she's gonna say they're not my team anymore. How she said in the chapter.
To kind of grow on that about her mom being so strong, I have a contradictions on the same page. That
What
her
page is
mom,
it?
267. That her mom really, her mom always wants her to go further, but it's a contradiction because her mom really wants her to keep going, but not anymore because she says,
Why don't you just stay home?
yeah, she's like,
And this is also a contrast and contradiction to Melody too, because like like some chapters ago, how like if she got like how she is now, or for littler things she would stay home or something, but for this, she's kind of contradicting it because she's actually going to school
and
after like such a big thing.
to kind of grow on that, I had a tough question for Melody. Tough question was, should Melody actually go to school? And
And these are
I was gonna put a tough question for that for like, oh, maybe it's not a tough question.
but I agree with you guys because
I can kind of disagree with that being a tough question for her because it's not like should I go to school.
She wasn't
or
saying, yeah.
she was like I'm gonna go to school.
but
She
in the
wasn't
next,
tough-
in a
it
couple
wasn't a
pages
question.
first, she's like, I shouldn't have. It's all my fault.
I think after the incident,
Yeah,
she realized, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have been so persistent about going.
I should have been
To school.
I shouldn't have been so selfish because you can see that everybody around her is being really like, oh Melody, why do you want to go to school?
and
so bad?"
it like what Brisa was saying, that like she's gonna go to school, and all these things were showing her showing her not to go, because one, Penny was sick and her mom had to go to work.
Her dog threw up.
Her dog threw up.
The
so she
weather.
would the weather was horrible.
It was kind of just like a
And then that
was
takes
like-
us to the fact when you get in the car, and then when
No, go ahead.
and then when they get in the car and she forgets. Wait, they drove to the school and then she forgets her.
I think they backed
No,
out,
they-
maybe.
They
Penny-
were in the
'cause
front of
Penny-
the car and she was about to start, and
yeah.
she points to her backpack, and to kind of go on how we're going with pointing at her backpack. And I have a contradiction for her mom because Melody's mom doesn't understand her, and always her mom is like has a connection with her and she knows what she wants, but it's not.
So why do you think, like, that's interesting, because the mom always is able to understand
Like-
what Melody is trying to communicate, and for whatever reason, mom wasn't getting it that day.
That goes with that because she got the backpack thing, but then when Penny got out of the house, Melody was trying to communicate with her, and then she didn't get it.
So why though? Why wouldn't mom?
Really?
Because I think she was just
All the
over
frustration.
frustrated over everything.
And like it's like as we were saying, like it's a contradiction for her because she always has like a connection with Melody and she always understands her and like she always gets her, like if she's hungry,
Like
she
on
gets
this whole page, I have 4 contradictions, and they're mostly about her mom because, first of all, her mom doesn't understand her. Second of all, her in the text under her breath, she says, "I hope when I drop you off at school, they take care of you and I'll leave
Yeah.
you there." And I had a contradiction for that.
Sure, I had it.
Melody's mom never complains
About
about having a kid with a
Besides
disability.
besides the time when they were in the store, when she was trying to tell
Yeah.
her mom
This
that
is
the
happening
blocks
again.
were
Because she's starting, and like everything that she does on these 2 pages, 275 and 274, are all contrasts and contradictions for her mom because she's like her mom hates her on the
I was
left.
just gonna say her mom actually
She
Like usually,
hits her.
And-
usually
and when Melody wants to help, she can't because her mom doesn't understand
Wait,
her.
but where is her communication? Or
The Medi
Shia?
Talker.
Yeah.
It's in. Her mom was so frustrated. She's just like, just go take.
Well, and it's also an electronic device that's attached to her wheelchair. And right now she's strapped in a car, so she's not in her wheelchair, so she doesn't have
that's
her
right,
Medi
'cause
Talker with her
If
right
she
now.
would have got on the bus like she said,
Mhm.
that there's the thing that she
Mhm.
loves.
But in order to get her into a car, you have to get all of that unhooked. So she wasn't able to communicate. And how crazy that we see on page 275, right after Melody's mom hit her, Melody starts kicking and jerking. It says, I had to tell her Penny was out there. Never had I wanted words more. I was going out of my mind. So crazy that, like, that's the title of the book. Like, at that point in time, that's when Melody couldn't take it anymore, to the fact that, like, she's totally broken by what this disability has done to her, because she cannot communicate to the fact that Penny is
outside.
outside.
Also connect that in the beginning of the chapter. She's like, I feel like stomping or something. Stomping and stomping and stomping. That makes it even crazier because she couldn't. And like,
And what also caught my mind is that how the mom gets all frustrated, yet she still keeps mentioning again and again throughout the chapter about Washington. Like, we should have gone to Washington.
like she takes it to the heart when her daughter should take it to the heart more. Like maybe she feels like so devastated that her daughter, like, cause you know how parents, they feel like if anything is happening bad to their
They
child,
feel what their children feels.
Yeah,
Maybe
and-
even stronger.
Yeah, and that's probably what's happening to her. But like, she's so frustrated because first of all, they're looking at her with her disability, which her mom hates. They're doing all these stuff that her mom does not like, and she's starting to do it herself, and that's kind of a very big contrast.
To grow on to like with like the mom stuff, on page 273 and 270 or 272, I wasn't sure if this was in Again and Again or Contrast and Contradiction, because her mom's always strong, and it says in the text, Mom sighed and pulled up my jeans. When I got back in my chair, I pointed to thanks, and Mom, she just shook her head and stuffed my lunch into my book bag. She's usually so like energetic and like she's like, oh my gosh, thank you, Mom, and she's like, you're welcome. But now she's just like,
She would have got the camcorder out and everything, but now she's just like, I don't
Shook
even
her
know
head.
what's up with her mom today.
Well, I think that her mom, like we decided earlier, was very frustrated, very overwhelmed, very hurt, very devastated. And think of, like, as a mom, like, this morning was a very chaotic morning for her family.
Because Penny was putting her hands in the dog bowl
Mhm.
and making huge
And then
mess.
the
And then
dog-
that Penny spilled all the orange juice over Melody's
dog
shirt. The dog
What kind of blows my mind a little bit is that, like, it's crazy how much one little event can affect the sequence of things, all because of what we concluded was maybe the three girls had something to do with not having Melody make the flight to
Because of that.
Washington. Because of that one thing, look at this chain of events that happened, and now who knows what happened to Penny
and the
because
thing,
of one.
Maybe it was the news people for just some reason. Because
oh, how they kicked her out. Maybe they're like, we don't want it.
well, no. Well, it could be the news people because
But they want
how
Melody.
well
They're like,
they do, but they didn't want Claire and Melody the same because then Melody was gonna end up saying something.
but they don't know that.
They did.
No, the girl.
They could have known because they just stopped it. They didn't give time. They didn't give Rose time to
Well,
say.
but as we were saying last time, we were like, we weren't sure if they
She
actually
knew, yeah.
literally had to like cut out, or if she knew that Rose was gonna say something like, you're not best friends or something. So
I don't think that's
we
gonna happen.
don't.
Well,